Take us back 3 years, and it all started with an idea. An idea that we're at the precipice of a next level of gaming, where indie studios have the power to compete against the bigger incumbents. And myself, I was a big fan of a game called Town of Salem. Remo used to play a lot of Among Us. Yep. We used to play these games together and always really felt like something was missing. So one day, out of the blue, I called him up and I said, like, hey, I have an idea. Let's start a new game. So he's the kind of guy who will say, like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So I went over to his office on a Sunday afternoon. We spent a couple hours brainstorming, and before you know it, Castle of Blackwater was born.
So what we really love about social deduction is, of course, the social component. But just having the social component is not good enough, in our opinion. So we started out with like proximity voice chat, with like text chat, etc. But then we wanted to add freedom of movement. So you have different rooms, you have different environments, you have different kind of scenery. That was the first 2 steps. And then we really wanted to add like a strategic component to it. Like, we really loved Town of Salem, but it felt a little bit static, a little bit boring to us. So the replayability was not there. So what we did is we created characters that can move around, that have special abilities, passive and active abilities that work together, but you don't know who the other character or who the other players are, which character they are. So there is always that part of who can I trust, who can betray me, etc., etc. So we try to mix freedom of movement with strategy, with like this almost a kind of betrayal that's going on.
I mean, I feel like the term social deduction, the games that are out there, they were missing the mechanics that really allow you to deduce. For me, social deduction is all about solving a puzzle. I want to feel like a detective. And with other games, it often felt like you had to be in the right place at the right time and kind of get lucky in catching a murder happening. And I thought, how cool would it be if when you investigate a body, you can like see the fingerprints, and people have to make conscious decision about how much evidence they leave behind, and based on that evidence, other players can then really start piecing together that puzzle.
How did I end up at Castle of Blackwater? That's quite a crazy story. So I was approximately, I think I was 17 or 18 years old, and I was studying international business, and Remo is an entrepreneur, of course, the co-founder of Castle of Blackwater. He came to give a presentation at my school, and he mentioned something about a game, and I was really interested in games back then and about how to build the games and the marketing side of it. During the meeting, I basically just raised my hand and I said, can I maybe talk to you for a second after this meeting, or do you have some time to just talk to me personally, because I want to ask you some questions. And at the time I was desperately searching for this interview. I had to do an interview for my uni, and I had only 2 weeks left to find a spot somewhere. So set up a meeting with Remo the same evening after that lecture, and then basically explained to him like, hey, listen, I love what you're doing, you're an entrepreneur, you're successful, can you please teach me everything you know? Can I just work for you for 6 months, and we'll see where we end up.
David came across our path because he was the art director at a different game studio that unfortunately didn't end up being successful. I'd already reached out to him before to just like compliment him on his work, and I was really impressed with the way he was able to design these characters. Yep. And then when his studio ended up failing, I kind of reached out to him quite early, and I said, hey Dave, I see that you're available. Tough break, but do you want to come and have a meeting with us? And so we did, and I don't want to call it love at first sight because it is a business relationship, but from the very get-go, he totally understood the visual direction that Castle of Blackwater would go to.
I'm nervous, but also a little relieved that we made it to this point, so clenching my butt cheeks.
Well, I want him to feel the obvious moments of excitement and when the gotcha moment, but when it came to designing the environments and stuff, I really wanted to add that sense of mystery. I like to add little bits of visual storytelling, and I want people to kind of just explore the environment and see these little stories that may not have any text behind them, but visually you can see, oh, something interesting happened here. I wonder what's going on here. And I don't want it just to feel like each room is just copy and repeat. I want it to each area to kind of have its own vibe, have its own feel. So I love doing that. I love creating those little things. It's It's a passion of mine. Ever since I was a little kid, I used to take a piece of paper and draw these scenes, and these high detail scenes of little things going on over here, little things going on over here, and little did I know that I'd translate to my career.
Just like David and Enzo, each person on the team came from their own unexpected path. Everyone joined at a different time, from Unity modders to ex-startup devs, interns, and audio professionals. What united us wasn't a resume, it was passion.
I'm feeling good. Grinding, yeah.
What are you guys working on?
Creating an input scrambler to like annoy people. So they don't. Yeah, so all the input gets scrambled, you know. It doesn't matter what buttons you press, they'll just go random directions.
So I think with any game, you're trying to reach some level of immersion, making the player feel like they're actually in that game. It's obviously difficult with games like ours because there's no real world, not necessarily any real world grounding in the aesthetics and the visuals, right? It's got that cartoony kind of look. It's in a castle, it's got this fantasy aspect to it. So it's trying to make sure that the game feels real enough being played in terms of the gameplay, as well as the sound as well.
I think the three core qualities that are a must for me is that you are, very welcoming to the community. You know, every single member that comes in Discord, on Twitter, it doesn't matter where. Being understanding, knowing that everyone has like different needs, different wants, and your approach should never be always the same because every people is different. And then the third is being open-minded. I think really have an open mind on what's going on.
We're not afraid to stay up a bit longer. We have a lot of emergencies. We've had a lot of emergencies in the past, and it's really lovely to see that everybody is giving it their all. I mean, I'm pretty much the freshest face. Even though it's been like almost a year, but it's really fantastic to be welcomed into a team that is so open, supportive, but also ambitious. There's a lot of people that I feel like I can look up to, and it's an absolute joy to work with them.
A few months ago, we were sitting in voice chat, and we didn't have this option where dead people could like talk to each other over voice chat. We were talking about it, like whether it would be possible to make it, and my senior, Helmer, he said it wasn't going to be possible on the current system. And I was thinking to myself, well, I think it is. And then I was bored for the weekend, so during the weekend, as a surprise, nobody knew about it. I just hopped onto the engine and I started working on it, and by the end of the weekend I made a nice little video that literally said like, fuck you Helmer, it's possible, here you go.
We are middle in launch week currently, now we're doing these interviews, but it's a lot of fun. It's hectic, especially yesterday. So one small detail, like how it can go, like everything was ready, we tested the build, we were really like, okay, we are ready for this. And then people came to the stream, and we saw, the website is down. Our main website, not the game, but the website is down. Oh shit, what is going on? Oh shit, people cannot log in. And then we looked at our server, which is a cluster server. It's quite technical, but it means you don't have one single point of failure. You have several servers, etc., etc. And all of them were down. It's like, what are the chances?
Never
like
happens.
99.8% uptime, and then you have 3 different servers. So what is the possibility that at that exact moment that we launch, that we that we have server issues? So that really shows that like in this launch week, a lot of things can happen. We are grinding with the whole team here. We have like a table where 12 people can sit, and I think most game studios don't push new features, especially a couple of days before you go live. I think we pushed new features 5 minutes before we went live.
Always do.
Like we always do, and it's high risk, but it's also a lot of fun.
I really love to see the game finally being played and discovered by real people who never heard about you, and they're just seeing all the things. Oh, it's like Among Us. Oh, it's like Town of Salem. But I like the mini games more, and stuff like that. So it's really, really rewarding to see.
I think a great next step for us in also helping us get more player liquidity is expanding to different platforms, and I think our game would be very well suited for the mobile platform, so that's definitely an avenue that we'll be exploring as we move forward. And after we have established a welcoming player base, and there's a lot of people playing the game, we're going to look to evolve that game.
And that's the reason also we started, right? We wanted to innovate the social deduction genre, so we keep on innovating. Like this is the first version where you see a lot of different things that you never saw saw in other social deduction games. And we will keep on adding more and more and listen to the community and listen what they would love to see. We will create different maps, different game modes, lobbies with a lot of players, with less players, where players have full control over their settings. We are constantly trying to see what does the review say, what does the community say, and how can we make it better. And I think that is really, in my opinion, the foundational level of making a really fun game, but B, also making a game that people actually want to play.
Yeah, don't just make a game for the players, make it with them.
Computer!